let's make some chicken fingers. Nasty hands, I'm gonna go wash my hands. Got that yummy white bread in my teeth. Y'all, that's a yummy sandwich. We are going to season and bread these chicken fingers all in one bag. I love making my chicken fingers this way because I don't have to dirty 2 or 3 dishes. My chicken fingers start off with boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You guys know I use these a lot. I really prefer these over the chicken breast because they have so much flavor and they do not dry out. First, we need to cut up our chicken. I like to cut the chicken into thirds, but if you have smaller boneless, skinless chicken thighs, you may just want to cut in half. Be sure you massage each chicken thigh to check for bones that need to be cut out. You can use any seasoning that you prefer for chicken fingers, but I'm gonna go real simple with some salt and pepper, some onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder, and some paprika. Distribute the seasonings by shaking and moving around the chicken in your bag. Then we're going to put just enough buttermilk just to get a little bit of liquid in there. We're not going to dredge them. We're just going to put just enough to cover the chicken fingers. Then we're gonna let that sit in the fridge for at least a couple of hours. I really like it better if you can let them sit for almost a day or like 8 hours. But if you've got a couple hours, let them sit in the fridge. Let them really soak up all of that flavor. Now our chicken has been in the fridge for about 4 hours. So it has soaked up those good spices. We're gonna add some all-purpose flour. Love it when I make a mess of flour. So, got my all-purpose flour in my bag, and what makes this chicken easy is because we're doing everything in our bag. So, rather than having to have 3 plates where you dredge bread, get all these dishes dirty, we're doing this all in one bag. You're gonna shake around the chicken, coating it, kind of separating it with your hands, kind of like this. And depending on how much milk you have in the bag, will depend on how much flour you have to use. So I added about kind of like 5 or 6 heaping tablespoons of flour, but I'm going to, after I shake it up, I'm gonna look in the bag and see if I need to add a little bit more because that flour is gonna soak up that buttermilk and you may need to add some more flour. I think I put a little bit too much buttermilk, so I'm gonna have to add a little bit more flour in order to kind of cover it. So what you're looking for is for the chicken to be a little dry. So the flour, the buttermilk will have soaked up the flour, but then you're gonna have a little extra flour that's gonna give you that breading. So I just added a couple of more tablespoons and I'm shaking again. You know you've added enough flour when the chicken is no longer like wet or sticky looking. So I ended up having to do probably 8 to 10 heaping tablespoons of flour. That looks gross. That doesn't look very appetizing, but that's gonna look much better once we cook it. But what you see is that it's dry. You add enough flour until it soaks up the buttermilk and it's dry. I'm fortunate enough to have inherited a huge iron pan. I call it my granny pan because I got it from my granny, but I love this iron pan. I've got a gas grill. I use it to do any kind of frying at my house. It works absolutely perfect. You want just enough oil where it's gonna come up about halfway up your chicken. So your chicken's not gonna be dredged down in the oil, it's just kind of be sitting in the oil, and we're gonna flip it so you're gonna get both sides. Make sure your oil is really hot before you put your chicken in. You wanna be sure when you drop your chicken down into it that it sizzles. If you try a piece and it doesn't sizzle, just give it a few more minutes to heat up. Add your chicken to your pan in an even layer and let cook about 5 to 7 minutes. Look for it to start turning golden brown, and then you know it's time to turn. If you don't have a big enough pan to cook all of your chicken at once, that's okay. You just want to be sure that you're not overcrowding it, because you don't want it to steam. You want it to cook individually, and you don't want it sticking together. So you may need to do a couple of different batches. Now they've cooked another about 5 minutes and they look like they're ready to go. So I'm gonna pull them out, put them on a foil lined pan with a little bit of paper towel. With these chicken fingers, there's so many ways to eat them. Tonight, we are going to have sliders. So a good little bun, chicken finger, tomato, lettuce, and a little bit of mayonnaise. That batter works perfect. No reason to dirty up a bunch of dishes. Do it in one bag you can throw away. Really yummy. The chicken thighs just make a really good chicken finger. Of course, you could do these with chicken breast, but I think they're just a little more dry. But that, y'all, it's a yummy sandwich.